Hey there, PGH Comic Expert here. Still going through my long box number 3. Got interrupted last time with a phone call, so I wanted to pick it up again and go through my G.I. Joe and some Spider-Man, as well as a couple other books. And yes, I did say G.I. Joe. Sorry. Huge fan of the old G.I. Joe comics. And that's why I'm starting with book number 1. So that is the official G.I. Joe Marvel number 1, A Real American Hero. This book was, it is a newsstand, and it is in great shape. I bought this at Phantom of the Attic in Monroeville. Roy had a great price on it there. This is a Herb Trimpe cover, the late great. I wish I'd have known that, or recognized that when he was last in town before his passing. It's unfortunate. And you know, it's just a great cover. I mean, what's not to love about this specific cover, in my opinion? It is cut a little funny at the top, I'm noticing that. But again, the price on this was, I couldn't pass this up when I saw this book, and it actually stemmed me to go and get more G.I. Joe books, because the early ones actually do have some, there's some value there. So moving right along, I did manage to find number 2. A tiny little flaw up top there. That's first appearance of Quinn, also a newsstand. I do have the first 10, but I'm just not going to show all of those off because none of them are super special. I have 2 copies of this one, but I'm only going to show one. This is the first appearance of Destro. Actually, it's the first actual full appearance of Destro. That's his cover and comic. He appeared in a previous issue, I think 13. As a shadow, or in the shadows. Now this is an annoying key issue, but I'm going to show it off anyway. And yes, I still keep I don't change my bags unless I have to. Yeah, I just don't see a point in it. If the bag's ratty when I get it in the mail, I will change it, but if it's not, then I just kind of leave it go. This is the first appearance of Major Blood. He literally has one panel. It's just a waste. Alright, picked this up at a con. It's in rough shape, a little bit rough shape. It has some spine breaks, but it is probably my favorite G.I. Joe issue. That is 21, the silent issue. I'll probably upgrade that one at some point. It's pretty affordable, even excuse me. Even now, I mean, it's probably it's the first appearance of Storm Shadow. It's one of like the maybe 5 major key books in G.I. Joe. The Real American Hero, you know, the last, excluding the last 10 or so. And I do have a third print of this. This is actually in better condition, but it is the third print. Not worth as much, but still has the same story. This is the first time a comic, I believe, was ever written without any words. So, it is neat. I'll give you that. Alright, sticking with G.I. Joe, we've got a few more keys here. You have the first appearance of Roadblock. I believe that might be the first appearance of Duke also. Yeah, 24 is the first appearance of Firefly. It's also the first cameo appearance of Zartan. 25, that's actually the first full appearance of Zartan and the first cover. Got a few more key G.I. Joe books in here. Bear with me. Alright, I believe this is the first appearance of Lady J. And it might be the first appearance of Dreadnoks. These G.I. Joes, like I said, there are first appearances and first appearances. So that I believe that is the first appearance of Lady J. This is the first appearance of the twins. As you can see, one of them's on the cover. Their name escapes me. And Flint. And number 48, that's actually the first appearance of Sergeant Slaughter. Yes, Sergeant Slaughter, the wrestler. the fictional version of himself. Alright, do I have any more G.I. Joe to show you? Some modern ones, so I'll go with that. Got G.I. Joe Origins number 19. This is IDW's silent issue, or this is the Snake Eyes silent issue. And I also managed to pick up the 1 in 10 variant, which does go for a little bit. I only paid $5 for it, but you know, I don't care if that guy in Murraysville and Infinity Gaming, I don't care what he charges for books, as long if he's undercutting himself, then that's his own fault. And then I don't know where this one actually came from. I mean, I know where I got it, but I don't know what else it's from. It came when I bought the third print of 21 online. The seller sent me this bonus book, which is a 25th anniversary book, and it is the same story, but it is redrawn. So it's pretty cool. I think it might have come with an action figure. They might have done like a Marvel Legends style release there. Okay. Sticking with the cartoon style comics here. I don't have his first actual comic appearance anymore. I did sell it because I just didn't like the condition. But that's DC Comics Presents 47. But shortly after that, DC did release a miniseries called Masters of the Universe. And, you know, it was He-Man's solo book or first solo story, or, well, I don't know if you want to call it that. But it did have a miniseries there. Interesting one. They didn't have the license to them, to Masters of the Universe, very long before Marvel got their hands on it. So Marvel published it under their Star, if you can see that, their Star imprint. That was more of their kids line. They also did Droids, Thundercats, handful of others. I'm working on putting this whole run together because these are hard to find. This one here, this book here, it's in okay shape. I probably could upgrade it or afford to upgrade it. It's got some spine ticks. I'm just not in that big of a hurry to do so. I'd rather focus on getting things that are more key. And if I can find these real cheap, I usually will pick them up. Got a number 3. It's a great cover. Hordak on the cover, covering Prince Adam and Slime. Number 4, that's when Marvel released, like, every single comic had this banner. And I don't have any other ones that are in between, but I do have a couple of really low print ones. So the last few issues of this were really low print. So we've got number 12, okay, which is the supposed death of He-Man. I paid $18 for that. I've seen it on eBay for triple that price in that condition. It's a great cover. Love the Skeletor cover on that. Now this one here, I don't think the seller on eBay knew what he had. And I don't think that's the second print or third print even. I know there is a variant out there. That's actually the final issue. And there are 2 He-Mans in that, and it's an interesting story. But I know it's got a little bit of issues up here in the corner, but I've seen another issue where it says like it's like some reading is fun or reading is great badge down here at the bottom, but I do believe that's the first print. And literally I paid $1 for this. Okay. Still sticking with comics that were created to push toys. Rough copy, but I do have one of Transformers number 5. I think that is the first appearance of Shockwave. I don't know. He's my favorite. He was my favorite Decepticon. I'm actually looking for the figure, the original figure, not the Chinese reproduction crap. Also still looking for the first 4 issues of Transformers, and I did have the first Devastator, but I did sell it. That was issue number 10, and it just, the cover was falling off of it, and it's not even worth me keeping at that point. I sold it with a bunch of the later issue or middle issues that aren't really worth anything. Alright, Transformers number 8. That's the first Dinobots. And number 80. That's actually the final issue of Volume 1. Alright, done with the comics that were created to promote toys. Now I'm going to focus on some Spider-Man books. I'll just start at the beginning. Alright, Spectacular Spider-Man number 90. That's a high grade, nice black cat cover, and the premise of this story is that she's been looking for Spider-Man and he shows up. This is when he's on Battle World in Secret Wars 1, and he comes back with a black costume. Here is Ultimate Spider-Man number 160. It's the death of Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. I opened the polybag because I hate polybags. And then we have Spider-Man 2099 number 1. That is the first, I think, solo book. I'm looking for the second print of that, though, the one with the white border. I'm not going to show off all of these. Favorite covers, but not really great writing, and McFarlane actually admits that, but I do have the whole McFarlane run of his solo Spider-Man title, which was 1 to 14 and then 16. I had several copies of this, but I did get rid of a few of them. This is actually the silver bagged variant. The bag is still sealed, and the weird thing is there is another silver variant out there that does have the price on it that was unbagged. This one doesn't have the price. As you can see, it just has a number 1 there, and this one probably is going for about 30 bucks on eBay in this condition. I think I paid $5 a long time ago. Alright, and of course I can't show off number 1 without showing off number 13. That's whenever he basically swiped his own cover and just gave Spider-Man the black costume. Alright, that's all I'm really having to say about that Spider-Man era. I'm just going to jump into, do have some a mini-series. And this is actually, I'll just see if I can put all 6 of these out here. I have these out of order of the other Spider-Man books. This is actually Kraven's Last Hunt. As you can see, it spans across all 3 Spider-Man titles at that time. Great Bronze Age, or I'm sorry, Copper Age collection I have. It is the death of Kraven. I believe he dies in Part 5. Got some more good Spider-Mans to show you. Got some classic Ditkos that are not in my special storage place. 32. I love the Steve Ditko Spider-Mans. 33. That's probably one of the best written Spider-Man stories ever, at least from Ditko. A really terrible copy of 41. I would eventually like to upgrade this. As you can see, it is in rough shape. Somebody even drew on the eyes. I literally paid just $5 for this at Wizard World. Alright, still sticking with classic Spider-Man. We've got number 90. That's the death of Captain George Stacy. Kind of a beat copy of 101. That's the first appearance of Michael Morbius, the living vampire, because the Comics Code did not permit an actual vampire to be in there just yet. Morbius paved the way for Tomb of Dracula. And that's part 2 of that story. Those of you who remember who watched the animated series probably remember the six-armed Spider-Man story. We have 123. That is Spider-Man vs. Luke Cage. And it's also Gwen's funeral. Oh, what's happening to 121 and 122? Well, they're not in this box, but maybe I'll have them for you in another video if I get enough subscribers. Marvel Milestone of 129. I did show you the actual 129 in my my magazine and slabs video. Reprinting, that's the reprint of the first appearance of the Punisher. Here is the second appearance of the Punisher. Second appearance of Tarantula too. And we have 136, that's the first appearance of Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. And there is the second Harry. And then here is a really rough copy, but I've seen worse, of, as you can see on the corners here, I'm looking to upgrade this one too. I would love to upgrade this one because I'm a huge fan of the Black Cat. We have 194, first appearance of the Black Cat. Bought that for $5. Still going through my Spider-Man. That's pretty much all I have for the rest of the video is just straight up Spider-Man. But we'll continue. I did have a lot more Spider-Mans, but I ended up selling a chunk of them. Because they were just issues I didn't really care about. Alright, 238, first appearance of Hobgoblin. No, I do not have the tattoos, nor do I care. This top staple is separated, but otherwise that is a beautiful copy of that book. 239, second Hobgoblin. Newsstand copy of 252. That's the first black suit in the title. Let's see. Here is the revelation that Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin. Now, Ned Leeds was acting as the Hobgoblin by proxy. It was revealed in these books here, which were The Hobgoblin Lives, parts 1, and then 2, and then 3. So that is the death of Jason Macendale, who was Jack-o'-lantern, and then became Hobgoblin, as well as that is the revelation that Roderick Kingsley was the Hobgoblin, and not Ned Leeds, even though Ned Leeds was killed Goodfellas style. Thought he was getting inducted into the gangland, and or the gang, and no, it did not happen. Alright, 298. That is the first Todd McFarlane artwork on the title. 299. That's the first cameo appearance of Venom. Where's 300? I don't know. Not in this box. Sticking with the McFarlane issues here. I am trying to put that run together. We've got 306, Action Comics #1 cover swipe, and that's actually a beautiful copy. It's flawless. 307, Chameleon cover. 309. 312, Green Goblin versus the Hobgoblin. And this is probably my favorite cover. 316, that's Venom's first cover. And here's another good cover. 328, Cosmic Spider-Man versus the Grey Hulk. It's an interesting one. Alright, we're coming to the end of the long box here. And that'll wrap it up. 360, that's the first appearance of Carnage, well, cameo appearance. 361, first full appearance of Carnage. We got 362, that's just part 2, and then part 3. And I think I showed this one already, but I put it away. So it was 430. That's the first appearance of the Carnage Cosmic. That's when he possesses the Silver Surfer. Still looking for 431. I did have all of this story, and I thought it was a good story, but didn't really care to keep it just because it was overprinted. But I did keep this cover. This is Back in Black, second printing variant of Spider-Man 539. I guess this is Volume 2 that was remerged into Volume 1, and that is a cover swipe of Spider-Man 100. We have the first print with digital copy intact of the final issue of Amazing Spider-Man, so they say, number 700. I've actually seen that book going for a lot of money recently, and I paid cover price for it. I do have, I believe this is the second print, or it's just the variant, but that is the Amazing Spider-Man 300 cover swipe. And then I do have the third print variant. Yeah, that is the second print. The third print variant is actually my favorite cover, and you can see it has an autograph on it from Dan Slott. That is the cover swipe of Spider-Man 100. My friend Rob in Omaha went to C2E2 in Chicago and got this signed for me. Alright, Amazing Spider-Man Annual, or King Size Special number 5. That's the first appearance of Richard and Mary Parker. And the last one I have in this box, it's still a key issue though. I've seen this go, I paid $4 for this at Phantom of the Attic in Monroeville. I've seen this issue going for much more, like 30 or better. Web of Spider-Man number 1. I loved the old Web of Spider-Man books. I wasn't so much a fan later on. Just the way that the title was drawn, the webs up here. And this is an issue where the black suit tries to possess him again. Quite an interesting one. And eventually, I believe the black suit ends up on Eddie Brock, because he separates himself from the suit in the church in this one. And Eddie Brock happens to be in the church. Okay, well that's my long box 3. That's the full extent of it. It used to be a lot fuller with Spider-Man, but again, there were just a bunch of Spider-Mans. I'm not looking to get all 700, nor do I care to. So I just, it was time to part with a good bit of them. So again, some key issues missing out of there. I may or may not have them. Tell your friends, get them to subscribe, and just maybe I will show you the vault. Thanks, y'all.